Hello everyone, it is Christine here and happy Friday from me. It is Friday evening, I have survived the week and I am ready for some stitching. And I've just been watching the videos from the Roxy Journal of Stitchery girls and I'm very excited by Roxy's Christmas Stitchery, which they're going to do over 12 days and share some Christmas Stitchery projects. And it prompted me to think that perhaps I would share some of my past Christmases, so Christmases past, as well as share some Stitchery's little projects that you can join me in doing as well. And it just so happens that the prompt for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery treasure hunt this week is weaving. And I have a great little Christmas craft, but that would also be fabulous to go on your Roxy's Journal of Stitchery if you're taking part in that project, because it involves weaving with fabric. So we'll come to that in a moment. I've given you a little taster, but I'll show you first of all the stitchery that I created last year as part of Roxy's Journal of Stitchery, the Christmas journal. I thought you might like to have a look at it, and I'll talk you a bit through what I did in creating it. So it's based on a piece of fabric that I had that had these gorgeous pomegranates and greenery and a little bird on it. Now the bird was a completely different colour. I haven't got the fabric handy out, it's probably packed away in a box, but it was a beautiful fabric, but it wasn't really as much in the Christmassy tones. It was probably more autumnal in its tones. So I used a whole lot of thread painting on the bird to basically change its colour, and as you can see I've used long and short stitch, and then I've used almost little seed stitches, and I used a variegated thread as well, just to get that beautiful variation in colour. I think that I was using the Wonderful Perle threads for that, and then lots of tiny little stitches. I think I might have even used some regular sewing thread, or possibly just one strand of embroidery floss, doing little French knots and beading. So I did French knots and then little beading through those. Used some really lovely metallics here, a sort of a bronzy reddy colour. Tiny little seed stitches on the leaf. More metallics on the leaves over here, more tiny little seed stitches. And then using metallics again to outline the pomegranate to really give it that sense of dimension. Sorry, a bus is going by the open window. And some more of the metallics there. Let's take that bit of fluff off. Some gold metallics, some chain stitch, and then some little leafy stitches, leaf outlining, and some long and short stitches in a variegated thread on the pomegranate flower, then some long and short stitches to fill in here, and again just outlining the leaves, some little crosshatch stitches up the stem, and then some satin stitches for the leaf itself. So that was a lovely piece to do, and then it was all just stitched down to this backing piece of gingham fabric. So stitched down all the way around, so that just gets pinned up and hangs down in our dining room and is lovely to put up at Christmas. I mean, this could go up at other times of the year, but because I created it as a special Christmas piece, because we often like to add some pomegranate to our Christmas salads, so it's a great little piece to have. So that's the first of my little Christmas stitcheries that I will be sharing with you. So let's then get on to the fun of creating some of these little heart hanging decorations. So here we have one that I've made out of just fabric, and then we've also got one that I've made out of felt. I haven't put the hanger on it yet, but it's basically a woven technique. Very easy to do. It's probably easier than the weaving that you saw Rachel do, because it actually hangs together and holds itself without even having to do stitching. Now I'll give you some ideas later of additional stitching that you can add to it, and the one bit where you might need a needle is just to put your little hanger in, but if you wanted to virtually have these be sewing free, you could even just glue your little bit of fabric to be your hanger onto it. So it could be totally, or you could even yeah, I think probably that would be the best one if you didn't want to be stitching it. So let me show you what I'll show you first of all with felt, and then we can do a fabric one together. So I've got some pre-cut bits of felt, and this is, and I'll share this pattern in the little Facebook group I've got for our stitch along, our little dictionary of stitches. I'll pop this little pattern into the Facebook group as well, in case you want to print it out. I'll just take a photo of it, and then if you wanted to print it and make your own. But basically, if you did want to make your own, all you need is a shape that's pretty much like this, and I like to do it with 4 little evenly spaced legs. It doesn't matter even if they're not absolutely precise either. As you can see on here, they're probably a little bit crooked. So what I like to do, what makes the task easier, is if you grab some little quilty clips, or you could use pins, but those of you that watch me know that I don't love pins. I try and avoid them at all times. So you get your 2 little pieces, and it is good to use a contrasting fabrics. And then you can either choose to go over or under. It doesn't really matter which way you go. So for my first one, I'm going to put my red over the top of my grey, and then I'm going to take my red under the grey, and then over the top, and then under or inside. So when I'm saying under, we're actually going inside the grey. Then I'm going to squivvy it down like this. And then we'll do our next one, and we do the opposite. So because we went over the first one, we're going to put this second one inside, and then we're going to go over, and then we're going to go inside, and then we're going to go over. And then for our next one, we're going to go over, then inside, and then over. And definitely the felt is the easiest if you're starting out with this and feeling not as confident. Felt is great because one, it won't fray, and you can be quite sort of quite not brutal with it, but you can be rough with it, and it is fine. With the fabric, you just need to be that little bit more careful because it's got raw edges on it. So just you sort of get it positioned before you finish it off, and so this one will finish on an over like that. And then once you've got it done, you can just do a little bit of straightening up. I usually just give it a little tug, a little bit of massaging it around. And what you end up with is this beautiful little heart. And then as simple as putting a little hanger on it. So you can see it doesn't take long, and you can get a whole lot of these cut out. I've previously put little initials on them. So I think when Alex and I first started dating, had a C and an A. I've made a big one with a C and a Travis and an A. I used to stitch some for the decorations for the table, which people could then take home with their little initials of each person on them, and you can fill them up with little treats as well. So if you're doing them for a sewing friend, probably a bit too big to put in it, but you could take lovely little bits of rickrack, for example. Way too much again, but you could just have a lovely little gift to hang out, or you can put little lollies in for kids. They make a really fun and versatile gift. I can see there's just a tiny little lump in the pattern there. Let me just smooth out that bit of the curve. So yeah, that's a great little project with felt, and I'll now show you how to make this little one, and we can also talk about some other ways to embellish your fabric ones as well. So just to avoid me cutting my piece of stitchery, I might move that out of the way, and I will grab my book book that I can do my tracing on. I've got my little template, and then I think I might use, I do really like this fabric. It's a poinsettia, and I've actually got a bit of it, so let's use that again. It is a fabric from Glass Poinsettias, designed in the USA for spotlight stores. So let's start by drawing our design on. I might try and see if my red or blue pen shows up a bit better on this fabric, because the black pen just wasn't really wanting to show up much. So this is using my friction marker, which is a heat raise marker, but I'm not too worried because, as I say, on the previous version it didn't really show out that much. I think I ended up almost having to cut around the template instead, but I'll just see if I can get it to, I think that's come out okay. I can somewhat see the lines. Shape the area out first. It's the top there, I think. Let's see if we can see down there. So I'll come down this side. Good to use your good sharp scissors. Never use your good scissors on card. Keep your sewing scissors if you can for just your sewing crafts. Can't actually see where my marking goes there. I'd have to redraw that. We'll get the sides done at least. I think I can see the marking around here. Yeah, I've lost the markings at either end. I might just redraw those. So yeah, you just certainly don't have to worry about heat erasing these markings. You'll just be lucky if you can see them if you've got a dark fabric like this. There we go. Okay, and we'll just do the other end now. There we go. Then I might use the same one as well. These were just from the sewing layer in one of my recent orders. I think I'll just be able to fit that on. Let's just take a section up here. And I may even cheat a little bit and cut around this shape. Might even prove easier. You never know. Put my little clippies on, so I'm just lining it up at the same fold mark. Let's try and get this to sit a tiny bit straighter. Maybe this end isn't actually all, I don't think it's actually trimmed straight, so we might even do that first up. There we go, that's better. Then we can trim around it. So you might find this easier than drawing it on once you get your template. that a little bit more. Okay. And then to get my lines, I might do the fold. You can sort of draw through your little slits in your paper. Otherwise, you can probably, it's a bit hard to see maybe if I fold one of them at a time. I was hoping I'd get a more defined fold line. Let's see how that goes. Yeah, I might still be better actually just marking them on this way. Okay. While we can see the lines, let's get them cut in. So it really goes up just to that point where the sort of the curve is. If you find you haven't cut enough, you can always add a bit more cutting. It's a bit harder to undo your cutting, so you're probably better to start the other way round. So again, I will just lay this one nice and flat. Fabric has a tiny kink in it, but I think it'll be okay. You would obviously give it an iron, but I won't make you sit through waiting for me to give it an iron. So at this point again, I like to put the little quilt clips on, or you could use paper clips if you only have these, or not paper clips, you could use paper clips actually, or you could use these bulldog clips if you happen to only have those handy. Just something to kind of hold it, just helps when you're weaving. You must laugh, I always use this cover for doing all sorts of ruling and drawing tasks on my desk. It's just always been by the desk for the whole time that we've been doing the A to Z of embroidery stitch along, so it's always here and always handy. Whereas I don't always have that much other, because the felt's not sort of hard enough to draw on sometimes. So again, we'll just start the process and you can go over or under. It doesn't really matter which way you go. So I'll go over and then I'll go in between and then over and then in between. Oops, get myself a bit tangled, but that's okay. As I say, it's just a little degree of difficulty is just a tiny bit more with the fabric because it's a little bit more flimsy than the felt. That's that one. And then next one I'm going to go through or in on the inside first and then over. And yeah, I wouldn't use a really fray fabric for this. You want something that's got a bit of substance to it. Some of the Christmas ones are really good because the gold embellishment seems to just give them a bit more sturdiness, a bit less likelihood of fraying. And you could always put a bit of backing on it or something if you wanted to. But I don't mind the raw edges. I'm a raw edges sort of gal. Okay, and then we're going to go over first of all, and then through, and then over, and through. And finally, we're going to go under or inside. Oops, I'll just make sure my last one is holding. And then over, and then through, then over to finish. Like that, and then again we just do a little bit of zhuzhing to give it a bit of a zhuzh. Make sure you're happy that it's all sitting nicely. Just give it a little tug and it usually sort of falls nicely into shape. And there you go, that is your beautiful, let me just put these pretty little scraps. I might have to make a micro mosaic Christmas fabric something. I haven't even thought through what I'm going to do. I just got very inspired by the Roxy girls and I thought, hey, maybe I'll share some little Christmas crafts as well, because I've missed actually doing the Christmas stitchery we were doing last year. It was so much fun. Let me get my little roller. I'll try out my reusable one. I'm just using up my other ones first and then I'll use the reusable. So as I say, at this stage you could put your little hangy bit on so that it can hang up from the tree. But the other idea I had is that you could actually stuff these. So I'm just going to grab some. I've got some fine tulle. I've also got just this remnant piece from a piece of fabric. Just get rid of the taily bits because I don't need threads hanging out of it. But you could actually put some stuffing of some sort. Again, I just make use of what I have as scraps. And then you could do some stitching around it, like with a blanket stitch, for example. So we can give that a go. I'd probably actually do the stitching first and then put some stuffing in. So let me find my needle and thread. Just having a look which needles I've got handy. Might give that one a go. And I'm wondering whether I might want to use one of my crochet yarns. It's got a little bit of green in it, but it's got a nice almost metallic-y sort of look. And so I'd probably do your hanger, yeah, I probably would do the hanger bit first, but I won't do that yet. We can probably actually add that at the end and feed it through if needed. So you might start it down here. I'm going to hide my little endy bit in there, and then we'll start doing our blanket stitch. Yes, just trying to think what I need to do. We'll go like that. Actually, we'll go the other way. That's probably be better. Probably just need to indent it a smidgy more. Just go that way. Just making sure my edges are staying together. Keep trying to go down from the other side. So this will just add a little bit of extra slow stitchy detail to it, which will be nice. And the good thing about slow stitch is it doesn't have to be perfect looking. It's just about giving that lovely rustic feel, and it's nice because it gives it just a nice little scallopy bit on the edge. Oops, try not to pull that too tight. Oops, okay, make sure we catch to get our little stitch. How's it looking on the other side? Yeah, that's nice. See, blanket stitch is great because you get that nice finish on both sides. So you're always just popping up about an equal distance along and then making sure you form that little sort of loopy stitchy bit. So again, just putting the thread over that side of the needle and then pulling through. So I think I'll do the hanger actually when I get round to the centre bit. And then that way when we come to stuff we don't have to worry about the hanger. The other one I think I'll put on my Roxy Journal of Stitchery treasure hunt piece for my mum, because I was planning to do a nice little garden piece using this stained glass window poinsettia fabric, and so that's perfect because Mum loves her garden, loves her flowers. What are those red ones called? Oh goodness, Christine. Or no, they're not the poinsettias, are they themselves? Maybe they are. Is that what I just... Maybe they are. They are poinsettias. Yes, they are. I was trying to think that they were a different flower, but no, they're not. Never mind me. Just ignore me. Nothing to see here. Moving right along. You must think she's a nutter. That Christine, she is a nutter. Seriously, Christine. Okay, so I'll put a little stitchy stitch through, stitch that one down, and then we'll make ourselves a little loopy loop here. I think like that. Little hanger, whatever size you want it. I want a decent size so it can hang off the Christmas tree. Get myself a little bit untangled would be good as well. And then I might just put an extra little tacking holding stitch in place to hold that nicely. And then take it maybe back through just to be sure that it's sort of nicely anchored and won't pull. And then I'll keep that out of the way and we will continue our way around. And this would be the point if you wanted to put some little initials on or something, you could also stitch that in before you stitch it closed. But as I say, you can also just leave it without anything else on it as well, and it will be perfectly beautiful. And I've just managed to unthread my needle because I was getting confused about where my end was. In fact, what I'm going to do is just pin this end out of the way because we can all see what Christine's going to do. She's going to stitch her hanger into her piece, isn't she? I know you could see that coming. Okay, let's just straighten it a little bit. Just got a little bit crooked. It actually feels quite heavy with that little clip on it. Oops. Throwing my needle around. So did you have a lovely week, or are you happy that it's the weekend? I suppose some of you, when probably by the time you're watching it, hopefully you're well on the way to your weekends. You might be still working on your Friday. Depends how long this video takes to upload. Sometimes they take a while. Also got to get some of my stitch along videos done too, because I think we're on the home stretch on the way to Z. Can't believe we've made it through, and that there's still a band of merry stitchers joining me in my crazy adventure to stitch A to Z, the Dictionary of Stitches. I've still got to put my dictionary together. That is definitely a New Year project. I don't think that will get done before Christmas, because I do have quite a few things I want to still do for Christmas, and I do quite a bit of baking as well. So this weekend I think I better actually plan out what I need to buy for my supplies for baking. And I might share some of those recipes with you too, if you'd like, if you're a bit of a keen cooker as well, or want to make some homemade gifts for the family. So drop me a comment in the chat if you're keen that I share a few of the recipes as well. I don't think I'll film myself cooking, but I can always share the recipes. Some of them I don't tend to follow a recipe, but if I can do it specially for you, and some of them I just do by gut instinct, a bit like my stitching. Okay. Oops, maybe go a bit further around. I think I'm further enough around that I can take that clip off, because it's just making it feel a bit heavy in my hand. Oops. Let's make sure we catch the thread. Hopefully I don't need to re-thread myself. It'd be nice to get round. Where do I need to get round to? Just round there. I think I should be able to do it. Oops. So yeah, even if you're not a stitcher, you'll probably find blanket stitches not too bad to do. So you're just popping through from the back, looping the thread over the needle so it forms a little loopy loop. And then how much further down do I need to go? I need another stitch, I think, just to kind of hold it there, which is good, because I think we are just about at our thread capacity. So I might do myself an extra little anchoring stitch. I might even do a little knotty knot, and then I'll feed the thread back into the piece, I think. And so this is a handy way to hide your thread in your piece, is to put your needle so it's sitting. I haven't done it in a woven piece before, but I'm sure we can do it. So I'm just passing my needle down, and I'll try and get it so it's actually within the piece. And then I'm going to pull my thread so it's sitting. Oops, we've poked the needle out, but we'll try and just do it with that. And then I'll trim it off so it's still got a little bit of thread left in, and then I'm going to put the end into my piece, and that will just stay stuck in there. Now you realise what I've actually managed to do, which is I haven't actually put my stuffing in my piece because I got a bit excited about finishing it off. But I think I might be able to cheat and actually get my stuffing in from the bottom. So let's see how this goes. And if not, it can just stay as its nice little hardy heart without stuffing in it. But I think this might actually work. Don't know how much stuffing we're going to be able to actually get in, but let's see. So put that up into that corner, and then put it over into this corner. I bet some of you are watching and going, when's she going to get that stuffing in? And you're like, I'm sure she's got a cunning plan, but no, she didn't have a cunning plan, but it has all worked out in the end. Let's get rid of those little thready bits. Desperation is the mother of invention. No, it wasn't desperation. We could have just left it the way it was, and you could have had in your own little plans to do your stuffing earlier in the process, but that's actually not too bad at all. You can probably just poke it up a little bit more because we don't want it trying to escape out the bottom. And so then you just re-complete your weaving. Again, give it a little bit of a tuggy tug, give it a bit of a shake, because now we can let a bit of the stuffing move down it. And there we go. That is a very sweet. Now I've just got a little bit of escapey stuff in because it's just need to make sure our surface is nicely woven together. And there you go, a beautiful, beautiful, I think that's gorgeous. I really do like that. And if you do get any little thready bits, you can either leave them because we like the rustic, or you can just give them a little trim. And if you did want to, you could at this point now go all the way around, but the reality is it's going to hold perfectly well like that, and that is just so lovely. I'm thinking I might even need to make myself a little pincushion or something like this, or leave this one hanging up in my craft room as a little mobile pincushion. So yeah, have a look around at your fabrics. You wouldn't even need Christmas fabrics. You could use the nice greens and golds and reds, and it will look Christmassy regardless. And as you can see, it doesn't take a lot. You can use some of your little remnant scraps of things as well. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you'll give it a go. You might want to start with felt, or you might want to play with fabric. You can do whatever stitching you want around the borders, or you can just leave them raw edged. You can even stick the little hangers on, make the hangers out of the same fabric or out of some ribbon. Yeah, the sky is the limit for these. You could even sew regular fabric onto felt and then do it that way as well if you wanted them to be a bit more sturdy, because the felt ones will tend to hold things a bit better, but these are just so lovely. This one will be going onto my Roxy's Journal of Stitchery treasure hunt piece, and this one will be going onto the tree. So there you go, and thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. I'll try and do another little craft tomorrow. I've actually got a fun craft that isn't a decoration for the tree, but it might be a really nice way you can create a gift for a friend that likes to sew. So we'll come back to these tomorrow. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.